Hey guys, it's Charles again. Thanks for coming back to our educational series on how to invest in real estate. This week we're going to talk about an acronym that's very popular among the investment world right now, which is BRRRR, right? This specific strategy is nothing new. It's actually, it applies to a lot of the strategy we've already talked about, but it's just a catchy name. So let's get right into it. So what it is that it's an acronym for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and repeat, right? The goal is to pull out all or most of initial capital. It is used by investors to help acquire and build a portfolio of rental properties without having to continuously save up for the new down payment for each new purchase. Sounds good, right? Okay, let's get into the pros. So the whole reason why people want to do this is basically it's a way to buy multiple properties when you don't have a lot of capital to begin with, but has a good job and be able to get lending. That's the key, right? You're leveraging off banks to get more lending, so to pull your money out, basically taking on more debt. You are able to purchase another property without having to wait for the market appreciation and mortgage pay down, right? So it's fast, get rich fast. What I think about that, right? Okay, let's get into the cons. So it is very difficult to find a deal. To pull off this successfully, which we will get in later with an example, you need to have a good deal, right? But it is very difficult to find this type of deal, right? Oftentimes, to pull this off, you'll need to buy ugly, smelly, off-market deals that no banks would even finance you, okay? So are you ready to take on this type of project, right? So that is something you need to ask yourself. Can you buy this, if the bank won't finance you? Are you okay with that? Can you buy them cash, right? So let's go through an example. So this is an example where we're going to say we're buying the property at 500,000. Okay, by the time we fix it up, the after repair value is 650. So your first mortgage on 500,000, 80% will be 400K, right? By the time you're finished the renovation and now it's worth 650, you're going back to the bank and asking for 80% loan to value on that. So your new mortgage will be 520, which means that the bank will give you back 120,000, which is the difference between the new mortgage and the old mortgage. That's what I mean by you're getting your capital back, 120,000, right? So let's dig a little bit deeper. To get 100% of your rental cost, your max rental is 120K, right? So in this case, you bought it for 5. If you put in 120,000 to renovate and it's now worth 650, by the time you refinance, you'll be able to get exactly 120,000 back into your pocket. That's exactly the cost you put in to renovate, right? Your down payment, which is the 20%, is still in there, right? But if you want to pull 100% of your down payment also, then 100K, then you would have to have a after repair value of 750, and you would have to have it done, your renovation, within 100,000. So see where it gets tricky? So to get all of your money back, which is the rental plus the down payment, not only you can only spend 100,000, which is a lot less than the initial 120K, but also your after repair value has to be 750 instead of the 650, right? With 100K of renovation, you would have to raise the value by 250K in order to pull 100% of both your rental and your down payment, right? So be careful. Don't be too greedy when pulling money out, or else you'll be stuck with a negative cash flow property. That's the another thing, right? Just because your property is now, let's say, worth 750, does it make sense to pull out 80% of that? Does it make sense to take a loan 80% of 750? Can you still cash flow, right? So you can't be like blind about, oh, let's just pull out the maximum that we can, because at the end of the day, the rent still needs to cover all your carrying costs. So you have to be very careful, right? We can never bet on the appraisal value. That's the another thing. Appraisers, they're a different punch, and a lot of times, you have to make sense with them. Like, you have to show them the comps. You have to kind of explain why your property is worth 750 instead of, let's say, 650, right? So that is something that you can never bet on, right? And make no mistake, you are taking on larger debt. It's not free money, right? This money that you get back, it's not free money. It's the delta between your new mortgage and your old mortgage, right? Okay, so conclusion. Realistically, if you can pull out 100% of only your rental costs, I think it's considered pretty good. But if that's all there is to it, what about if we consider buying a turnkey at 750 to save your time and the renovation headache, right? If all you're gonna pull out after, let's say, 6 months of rental, and your time and your sweat and the headaches, and maybe something's gonna happen during the renovation, is the renovation cost, then why not buy something that is already renovated, and you just go to the bank, get 80% loan on the after renovated value, instead of going through that pain, right? And you should never count on the refinance, right? We talked about that. This is something, it's good if the refinance comes in, high or higher than what you expected, but don't hope for that, right? So at the end of the story, hope for the best, but expect for the worst, right? Things are gonna happen, right? Your renter might go sideways. You might find something unexpected, cost, right? Maybe material shortage, right? Or maybe labor dispute, maybe some safety issues during the rental. Something could happen. If that were to happen and interfere with your plan, instead of refinancing right away, can you afford to hold on to it for 1 to 2 years, right? So do you have another exit strategy if things don't work out short term, right? And don't get confused, right? Even though I put this as a different strategy, most of the strategy we already talked about in this channel can be a BRRRR. So what I mean by that is, let's go back, right? So what did we talk about? We discussed single family homes. So single family homes can be a BRRRR, right? If you buy a distressed and you renovate and you refinance, it could be a BRRRR. Rent to own, this is an interesting one, because rent to own, as we described, you're buying a turnkey nice home for a nice family, and you're getting that large capital option down payment at the beginning. So in essence, this is a BRRRR without even doing the renovation, right? You're getting some of the money back, but you didn't even do any of the renovation, and you're buying nice turnkey homes. So it's very easy, right? Student rentals can be a BRRRR if you buy it rundown and you convert it into student rentals. Condos can be a BRRRR if you bought something that needs work, right? 2-unit conversions, absolutely, right? This is probably one of the most popular way of doing BRRRR, right? You buy a single family that needs work, and you are updating the main floor, and you're converting the basement to a legal second suite. You're doing a change of use, you're improving the value, you're doing forced appreciation. Of course, it's a BRRRR. Multifamilies can be a BRRRR, right? We learn about cap rates and how we derive the value of the multifamily, right? You're doing the tenant turnovers, you are adding value, you're creating room by room, right? You're turning them into nicer, more renovated rooms, right? That's how you up the value, right? Flips. So flips is not a BRRRR, but basically until the point you sell, it's the same. You're buying distressed properties, you're renovating. Instead of renting it out, for flips, you're putting back into the market. But if you don't, then you rent it out, and then you refinance, then it becomes a BRRRR, right? But the project is 90% exactly the same, right? That's the whole point. Okay, so that's it for this week. If you guys enjoy the content, please go to my website at charlie.com, download your free copy of the deal analyzer, and if you can, click the subscribe and like. That will be very much appreciated. Thank you. Bye for now.